Hi, it's Rob Rubel here, back on our video cast, and very excited today to have Olivier Bernier with us. Again, this video cast, podcast, whatever we're calling it, the idea is to meet parents around the country who are telling their stories a little bit, telling some of the positive experiences they've had, letting us know about some of the learning they've had, with the idea that it keeps us inspired and motivated, educated, and just kind of ready to keep going with our lives with our family members with developmental disabilities. If this is the first one you've tuned into, I'm Rob Rubel. I'm a financial planner. I'm also an author of 3 books that are available on Amazon and in bookstores. I have this video and podcast, and I speak with families around the country. Today, I'm very excited to have Olivier with us. Olivier, thank you for joining us today. And just a quick
Thanks for having
introduction about Olivier. He's the father of 2 children, and he has a 7-year-old son with Down syndrome. And he's also the director of a film called Forget Me Not, about his experience, initially, I guess, his experience with inclusion and how it didn't work, I believe, in the New York City school system, and took that away to help both educate other parents and also put a little bit of pressure for change in the school system. That's how at least I interpret it, but I'm sure you have other pieces about that. Olivier, is there anything else you want to say before I jump in with my questions?
No, that was a great summary of the film. Excited
Oh,
to be here.
good.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And again, we ask for short questions and give Olivier a chance to tell us about his experiences, and hopefully we can all take something away with that. So again, we're just going to jump right in. So the first question today is if you can talk about an experience that stands out, that speaks to your relationship with your son with Down syndrome. It could be something small like time driving together or something bigger. You've been involved in systems and systems change with your movie and some of the work that you've done. But this is really something personal that keeps you going.
Yeah, well, with Emilio, it's really a collection of moments that kind of defines our relationship. And one thing that always sticks out in my mind is just our love of music. And in fact, maybe I brainwashed him a little bit with certain types of music, but he's a huge fan of records, and we go record shopping together, and we get he loves Bob Dylan and the Beatles and just a lot of the music I like, which some people say I'm an old soul, which makes him an even older soul. So those moments together just really something I look forward to every day. So
Yeah, that's great. I love first of all, records, for those of you listening, that don't exist for most people anymore anyway. But the idea of going to a record store and kind of flipping through the bins like we used to do, it sounds like that's an important part of your time that you get to spend with Amelia. So, that's great. I don't know. I think it was during COVID. It might have been before. I had one of the music systems, and I listened to every Bob Dylan record in order. Unbelievable body of work. So hopefully he'll get there. I don't know. And music is so important to our family and the sharing time we have together too. Thank you for that. The next
yeah.
question is, your film, Forget Me Not, sheds light on inclusion and needed reforms in schools. And thank you for tackling that subject. Clearly, changes are needed in the education system, and there's work to be done. But thinking about what you saw as you went into schools and classrooms, personal experience and also professional experience, what were 1 or 2 positive insights that you had or feelings you walked away from as you met with families in the school districts?
Yeah, well, when we got into making the film, and I was first of all really lucky that I had a grant and I was able to devote a lot of my professional time to learning about inclusive education. But I really knew nothing about it when I started, and it was only by meeting experts in the field, but especially families that were going through similar struggles as ours, that I learned that you have to trust your gut. When Emilio was born, I wasn't ready for him, and I didn't really understand what it meant to live with Down syndrome. And what I found out is that it's not all doom and gloom. It's great. It's great, and that Emilio would live a really fulfilling life, but that we had to do everything we could to create those opportunities for him, because unfortunately, society is not really completely prepared to accept him. So our job has been to really make sure that he has those opportunities in school and in life. So it's been really gratifying. And, I think it's only by meeting the other families and other adults and children with disabilities that I learned that, it's the right thing, and you got to trust your gut, and you just got to push forward.
Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes it can be not even district, school to school, teacher to teacher, principal to principal. But that idea of trust your gut is so important, that you're feeling something, something's not right, I suppose is the way to look at it. And it doesn't have to not be right. It can be better and right. And maybe we're never getting to perfect, is how I look at it, at least. But that idea of uh, keeping curious and keeping asking questions and learning as a way, again, I'm adding a lot of extra words to what you said, but this is how I interpret it. And because trust your gut sometimes can just mean fight, fight, fight for some people, right? That's their gut. I don't know, was that your experience, or is it just that there's a process, there's learn, how do you take that to action a little bit?
Yeah, well, initially I think it was a fight, but it doesn't feel that way as much anymore. It feels more like a collaboration. The school district we're in now is trying to figure out, what will help Emilio succeed and Emilio be the best version of himself. Emilio's not like the, neurotypically developing child, and he has different challenges, but every child has challenges. So how can we set him up for success? And it's been a great learning experience. There's a lot of technology out there that can help with this. And, one thing that I'm really finding is that I'm happy Emilio is born today versus, 20,
Yeah.
30 years ago, when some of these things didn't exist, or some of these ways of thinking weren't even on the table at that time.
Mhm.
So we found some people that have been really receptive, and, there's a lot of people rooting for Emilio, and Emilio is, Emilio is Emilio, and he's being himself. And that's what's most important, is that he has the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you for adding on to that. I love the Emilio is Emilio, and it's true. My daughter is a unique. I guess all my kids are unique individuals in their own way, and the more the schools have been able to meet them there, or I am, it's even better. This is sort of a tag along, but not quite. So again, was there one person or class or something else? Could be therapy, it could be an education, whatever it happened to be, that was most important to you, either right now in recent days or right when Emilio was born? What really helped you be a better parent and better person with him?
Yeah, well, going off the notion that Emilio is going to be Emilio. When Emilio was first born, as I mentioned earlier, I was just really unprepared for him, and I had never really spent significant time with anybody that has disability. And the first 24 hours were really tough for my wife and I, just coming to terms with what Down syndrome is and what it would mean. And initially, the doctors didn't fully commit to Emilio having Down syndrome. They said there's a chance that he might have Down syndrome. And a pediatrician worked really hard to get the head geneticist of our hospital, NYU, into our room at night. And he came 9 o'clock at night after having a long conference. And he walked in and he said, "Mr. and Mrs. Bernier, I can positively tell you your son has Down syndrome. Now, do you have any questions?" And after that, there was like a sense of weight off our shoulders, because it wasn't a question anymore. But he followed that up by saying, when I was born, my parents didn't know if I would be the head geneticist of NYU or if I would end up
Hmm.
as a drug addict. And all you can do is be the best parent for your son and raise him like you would any other child. And I took that to heart. After that, it was like, all right, let's go, let's do this. And ever since then, it's kind of framed my mindset as a father.
I love that story. It's so freeing. And really, the doctor gave you a gift to say, we don't know what life is going to be like. And in many ways, we get to choose. But it's just that it's going in directions that we never know is going to go. And we had very similar advice from our doctor. And the quicker it was, it helped me adjust faster to the fact that my daughter had Down syndrome I knew nothing really about, and embrace the life that was coming to us in all kinds of fun ways. So, yeah, and it's so great that you got that in 24 hours. Fortunately, I've heard the other side of that, where people get really bad advice from the medical community. And it makes me so happy to hear you got great advice and you were able to take it to heart and live with it too. So that's good. So
Yeah,
I
I
have
think as
always been surprised. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you probably know from your own experience as a father, you learn to kind of weed out the bad information and grab onto the nuggets,
Yeah,
right?
do my best. Not always a good day sometimes,
Yeah.
but anyway. And this is kind of the standard last question or something similar to it. Tell me about a win or something awesome that happened with you and Emilio the last couple of days or even the last month, other than going to the record store and finding a great album.
Oh, good question. Well, just one that pops in my head just off the cuff is just the other day we've been working on throwing the baseball, and Emilio loves watching baseball. He's a Mets fan, by the way. And he's had trouble catching the ball, and we were in the backyard, and he showed up, and I didn't even know he had it, but he had a football, and we were throwing the football, and he was catching the football, and it was just, we had a back and forth catch for probably the first time, so it was just a lot of fun and made me really happy.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah. A little easier to catch the football, I suppose, than the baseball, but just that you're out there having a good time and stuff came together. Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
It's those little moments, they all kind of connect, and they all lead to really good memories.
Well, we appreciate your time today. This will go up on my Facebook page, and it goes on YouTube as well. And if you want more information, you can look at robrubel.com. Nobody can ever spell it, but you'll find me eventually, ROBWRUBEL.com. And if you're looking for the movie, where's a great place to find that? If you want to just give a quick plug there.
Yeah, so you can go to forgetmenotdocumentary.com, or for short, fmndoc.com. And there you'll see all links to where you can stream the movie. And there's a lot of resources for parents about inclusive education as well.
That's so important. Thanks for your time. We look forward to all of our next calls, and hopefully we'll interact with a whole bunch of you soon. Have a good day. And we're out.
Take care. Thanks.